a non-technical orientation to the coming cybersecurity requirements of National Institute of Standards and Technology SP 800-171. Featuring Davon Tyler, FSA Chief Information Security Officer and Director of Enterprise Cybersecurity Group.
You may have heard of NIST 800-171. We're going to take a look at some common sense ideas and examples to help you relate to it. Today we'll go over what is NIST SP 800-171, the facts that may help you with NIST SP 800-171, the pulse of NIST 871, next steps, answering your questions, and the goal and intent to keep you in touch with federal student aid. NIST is the National Institute of Standards and Technology, part of the U.S. Department of Commerce. Standards make things easy. We all understand them and we know what to expect. Similar to following a recipe, we rely on standards, measures. NIST also has standards for us to ensure quality and effective results in data security. Again, everyone, hello again. Thanks for joining me today. We're going to go and do a deep dive on NIST 800-171, a vital standard in cybersecurity that focuses on safeguarding controlled unclassified information, CUI, for higher education institutions like ours and yours, in particular relevant because we manage a wide variety of sensitive information from student and financial records to valuable research data. There are a number of controls that we're going to talk about today that lay out comprehensive frameworks for protecting data. And today we'll walk through each one and provide practical examples relevant to the academic environment. Here's one interesting fact. SP means special publication. 800-171 is a number or name of a standard, and we'll learn more about it. It shows how we protect sensitive data. Now that you've gotten acquainted, we'll call it by its nickname, 800-171 or just 171. This was just updated in May of 2024 to revision 3, and we'll cover that today. The great news is that some of the items that I'm about to go over have already been done by the institution, and this effort will help provide an enterprise view of these efforts. You may already have help inside of your organization with NIST 800-171. NIST is a standard largely used around the country, so there's various resources and vendors that specialize in its publications. Internal to your organization, the family that we're going to go over encompasses multiple groups, as we'll discuss. If you look at this slide right here, you see there's campus security, HR, and IT. And as we dive deeper into those control families, you'll see how these relevant groups work together to support and safeguard and protect the sensitive information inside of your institution's network. NIST 800-171 establishes a set of guidelines designed to secure CUI on non-federal systems. For your university, it's translated to protecting data that could range from federally funded research details to student personal identifying information, PII. 800-171 is structured around 14 control families, each addressing a different security aspect, from access controls to incident response. Implementing these controls not only strengthens data security, but also aligns you with federal cybersecurity expectations, which is increasingly essential for institutions receiving federal funding. We're going to break this down to bites. We're going to start with emerging controls, hopefully some of the easy ones, and we'll dive deeper into some of the more complex ones as we go on in later slides. The first one, personal security. This is about people, how our employees screen prior to joining an institution or grant them access to confidential information. Transferred or terminated staff have access removed. This is a shared function for your HR and IT departments and probably already done. Personal security ensures that only trusted personnel have access to sensitive data. Here's an example. Background checks are conducted for all IT staff with access to critical systems, including students' database and financial systems. New hire complete security awareness training before accessing these resources and ensure that only trusted personnel have access. Physical protection. This is about places, doors, locks, keys, and badges. Only authorized personnel are allowed into physical spaces where sensitive data, equipment, or systems are stored. You have controls for visitor access. It's probably already been handled by your facilities, physical plant, departments, or campus safety. Physical protection focuses on securing access to locations with sensitive systems. Here's an example. Access to data center housed in a university's main server is restricted to authorized personnel via badge access. This physical control prevents unauthorized entry to sensitive locations, ensuring that the security of critical infrastructure is supporting university operations. Access control. This is about computer access to systems, data, and networks. Who can use and see sensitive apps and data? This is an HR and IT function. It's probably already in place. Access control ensures only authorized individuals can access specific information. Uh, Here's an example. Uh, you have your student information system that you publish grades for. That system, students have access to it to view their grades, and the relevant faculty have access to publish grades in that system. But someone like me, an outsider to your organization, to your university, I have no access, even if I join your guest network to check the internet. That's the way I'm showing that proper access control is in place. Identification and authentication. This is about using your username and password and other ways to prove you are who you are to a computer system. There are password requirements and differentiation between privileged admin or system administration and non-privileged user. This is an IT department function and likely already done. Identification and authentication verify that the users are who they claim to be. Here's an example. Faculty and student use single sign-on with multi-factor authentication to access campus services such as the learning management system and online grading portal. This ensures that only verified users can access sensitive student information and course material. Audit and accountability. Our records kept of authorized and unauthorized access can violators be identified. Review logs and analyze risk. This is an IT function. Audit and accountability involves monitoring and tracking access and modifications to sensitive data. Here's an example for this one. For compliance purposes, the university logs and reviews any changes to student records and its enrollment systems. By monitoring these logs, the institution can detect and investigate unauthorized access or modifications, helping maintain accountability and protecting student privacy. Media protection. How are electronics and hard copy records and backups safely stored? Who has access to them? This includes backups, equipment, and external drives. Media protection requires safeguarding physical devices that store sensitive information. Here's an example. All sensitive university data stored on portable devices like USB drives or laptops used by the faculty must be encrypted. This measure protects research data in case devices are lost or stolen, especially critical for faculty working off campus or while attending conferences. Maintenance. What timeline exists for routine system and network maintenance? Who's responsible? System and networks are continuously monitored and upgraded. This is an IT function. Maintenance involves regular updates and monitoring to keep systems secure. Here's an example for this one. The university conducts regular maintenance on its research servers, patching software vulnerabilities and updating configurations to prevent unauthorized access. Before any maintenance work, technicians are required to log actions, use secure tools to ensure system integrity. Planning. Planning is about putting in place the policies and procedures to protect CUI, develop and document and disseminate them, and review and update them. Here's an example. The university IT develops a security plan outlining steps to protect CUI, including regular control evaluations and risk management. This plan is periodically reviewed and updated and address evolving cybersecurity challenges. All right. Midpoint check. This slide is in place so that you can take the time right now to put your questions that you may have in the chat so that we can expeditiously respond to them as we get through this slide. Configuration management. By setting hardware and software with security features and malicious software installations prevented. This is an IT function. Configuration management is many things, but in a nutshell, I'll describe it as establishing and maintaining baseline configurations and inventories of systems, including hardware, software, firmware, and documentation, establishing and enforcing security configuration settings for information technology products, track, review, approve or disapprove, and log changes to systems. Configuration management focuses on establishing and maintaining secure configuration for all systems. Here's an example for this one. Your university standardized security configuration across all campuses. This includes disabling unnecessary hardware and software, enforcing security baseline, reducing potential vulnerabilities, ensuring consistency in how computers are secured across campus facilities. System and communication protections. Regularly monitors the transfer of data of key internal external transmission points. Use encryption, prevent unauthorized transfer. System and communication protects and safeguards network and communication channels. Here's an example for this one. Your university enforces firewall rules that segment traffic between administrative systems and student Wi-Fi networks. This separation prevents a potential attacker on a student network from accessing sensitive information on the administrative systems. System and information integrity uses system alerts. How quickly can you identify and correct unauthorized users, access, or threats? This is an IT function. System information integrity ensures the integrity of our systems through monitoring and updates. Here's a real world example for this one. Real-time threat detection software monitors the university email servers for malware and suspicious activity. If malware is detected, the system immediately blocks the email to prevent the spread of malicious software, protecting users from potential data breaches. Risk assessments. Are defenses tested in simulation, operations, individual verified regularly, patches found vulnerable? This is an IT function being done by an outside security firm. Risk assessments help identify and address potential vulnerabilities. Here's an example for this one. The university conducts an annual risk assessment to evaluate vulnerabilities in its student information system. This assessment includes evaluating how data breaches can impact students' information, PII, and implements mitigations to address identified risk. Security assessments check controls and procedures, reveal weaknesses, and continually improve. This is an IT function, but you can also use an outside assessment or an audit company. Security assessments involve continuous evaluation of system defenses. External auditors perform regular security assessments on a university's networks and application. These assessments identify potential security gaps, help the IT department strengthen controls to protect sensitive student and faculty data. Our incident response. This is my favorite one. What's the process if a breach or security threat occurs? Your IRR, or incident response plan, has plans for a range of possible incidents, training and testing. This is an IT function, but should involve others in your organization. For example, communication, finance, legal, compliance, risk management, and leadership. Incident response is about having a plan in place to handle security incidents. Here's an example. The university incident response team has a protocol for data breaches, including notify affected individuals and isolate and compromised systems. For instance, if a breach of the financial aid system occurs, the team immediately locks down the system to prevent further access while investigating a breach. System and service acquisition must have security in mind for new systems. For modifying legacy systems, use contracts to turn your vendors into partners who help to protect CUI when they process, store, or transmit data. Here's an example. When a university considers acquiring a new student information system or cloud-based research management platform, the IT procurement team collaborates with security and the legal team to ensure a solution meets NIST 800-171 compliance standards. They review the vendor security protocols, ensuring the system supports encryption, access control, and other necessary protections for sensitive student and research data. Additionally, any third-party software undergoes a security assessment to evaluate potential vulnerabilities, ensuring that only secure, vetted solutions are implemented within the university's infrastructure. Supply chain risk management. Depending on others, may be an added risk. Vendors who provide products, systems, and services may themselves be a target of threat actors and have unintentional data mishandling incidents affecting you or your data. Supply chain risk management activities are much like proactive incident prevention activities you already do for your school, which is a good review as we near the end of this presentation. Supply chain risk management includes identifying and assessing risk, determine appropriate risk response actions, developing plans to document response actions, and monitoring performance against the plans. Supply chain risk management should be one of the most important things you do. Here's an example of it. Before purchasing cloud storage services, the university reviews the vendor security practices to ensure that they meet NIST 800-171 standards, protecting the university's data and limiting supply chain vulnerabilities. Awareness and training involves privileged users and everyone on the potential risk and related procedures in performing their security-related tasks. This could be a shared IT and HR function. Awareness training like what we're doing now together, you may do with your staff. Look, we come full circle. Awareness and training are crucial in equipping our community with the knowledge to identify and respond to cybersecurity threats. Here's an example. To raise cybersecurity awareness, the University IT Departments offers a mandatory annual training program. This includes simulations such as phishing attempts to educate the staff and students on spotting suspicious emails and practicing safe online behaviors, reducing the risk of phishing attacks on the university's network. All right. We've gone over these control families. There are now 17 under NIST 800-171 revisions. We talked about management, procedures, and operational controls. My hope and my intent is that you now have a better understanding of how you can leverage NIST 800-171 to secure your environment and the things that you already have in place to help secure your environment. So this is not necessarily a new thing, but something that you're already doing and you're just not taking credit for. Here's more information. We'll provide a URL here so you can download relevant controls or documentation on this 800-171. And again, let's stay in touch. Let's continue this conversation. I have an active team. Federal Student Aid is very involved into making sure that communication is happening both from university to ours. So again, let's stay in touch. And hey, join your colleagues who'll get our quarterly newsletter with useful cybersecurity actions you can take. The sign-up information is on your screen. Be one of the 20,000 that are getting the newsletter. It's a fantastic newsletter. We put out relevant information for your institutions. All right. Now there's time for questions. As always, if you have a data breach, let us know by email or through our online form. The addresses are on the screen and the slides you may have downloaded. I'm here to answer any of your questions.